Hey, how you guys doing? Michael again. I gave you guys an intro, so if you want to know anything about me, I made a quick one. Just go back in the other videos. One of my main subjects is communication, so I want to make sure that I get the information to you. Everyone's all clear with everything. So like I said, if you had any questions about me, I explained some things pretty good in my intro. So this video is going to be where it started for me. We're going to go in the order of my realization of life and narcissism, not in the order where it came to me the first time. Okay, so we're going to start with my marriage. I was married 10 years. I was married to a woman that I knew, let's see how long, from 42, 16, I know her like 25 years. And I took her virginity in high school. At the time, I had a lot of partners. I was all over the place, and I was skipping school, and I heard her on the phone saying she wanted to skip school. So I ear hustled her conversation, snatched her up, and took her home, and we had sex. Then, within 30 minutes of knowing her, we were having sex. It was pretty crazy sex. Little did I know is that for the theme for the rest of her life until she meets me is I raped her on this time. So she started telling in secret. She didn't blow it up all over the place. I never heard it until like 6 months ago after my marriage. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So yeah, I took her virginity. We had sex. I didn't see her again for like 15 years. So now I'm a dad. I'm living a whole different life. My first child's mom died in a car accident. I've been a dad since 2000. So I've been a dad more than half my life. So that's how I met her. I had sex with her 30 minutes after I met her. So I married her, so I can't complain, can I? I thought that was nostalgic. Holy shit. I got a lot of issues. Luckily I've been worked out a lot of them, so we're not doing too bad now. But I thought that was cute. What the hell? I thought it was cute. Well, so anyways, I was married 10 years. It's the most abusive, mentally and physically person you can imagine. There's different levels of narcissism. There's narcissists that are cerebral. There's sexual narcissists. Cerebral narcissists, they think they're really smart, so they don't care about their body as much. They kind of think it's a pain in the ass. They're going to carry this body around. They're so smart with their brain, they wish they didn't even have a body. And then there's like sexual narcissists that aren't necessarily that smart, but everything's about sex, their body. They're staring at themselves in the mirrors all the time. And they care less about the thinking and the brain stuff and emotional intelligence and just all sex. The body working out crazy all the time. Working out tons is awesome. That's what I do. But I do it in a healthy way for me. There's a difference between working out all the time, healthy way to feel good, give self-love, and then there's like working out, staring in the mirror and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's different. You're in the gym trying to get laid and all that kind of shit, you know what I mean? But so, I just started this format. I like it like this. I like the nighttime too. So yeah. How should I start? So, I didn't see her for 15 years until I saw her in a bar. She ran up to me. She was drunk, all giddy. You know, you took my virginity. And when I first met her, she wasn't as good looking as she is now. She's had over 100 partners. I already knew she had a huge body count, but I couldn't say anything because I was right up there with her. So I let her get away with that when I married her. I knew that. I'm not a jealous type, so that didn't ever stress me out about anyone she ever had sex with or any other guys she was with. That never stressed me out because I think I'm the best anyways. And I didn't really see anyone that she was messing with that was better than me. So it never stressed me out, never bothered me. And I'm a pretty fair person. What am I going to say? I had a lot of partners. I'm not going to get on her about it. But she's up there, big numbers. She's got more numbers than me. So I tried to hook up with her in the bar. She turned me down on purpose. I could tell. She was so into me, but she wouldn't give me the time of day. And then so I saw her at a party at a different time. And ended up, at the end of the night, I was flirting with her all night. At the end of the night, it ended up between me and another guy. She was going to hook up with one of us. And she took the other guy. As she's leaving with the other guy, she stared me right in the face. She was mad because when I took her virginity and had sex with her, at the time I had a lot of partners. I never called her back or paid any attention to her. So she like held a vindictive thing Narcissists, they have self-injuries. So something small that might be to us freaking pisses them off, and they hold this grudge forever because it was a major insult to them. Narcissists, when they were young, they went through this traumatic thing. And because it was so traumatic and everything that they went through, is they had to make kind of like an alternative thing. And so they came up with this alternative person. And this alternative person is like their God. And it's them. So whenever you insult a narcissist, look at it like that's their religion and they're their own God. So when you insult them, it's like insulting their religion. Have you ever insulted an Arab's religion? Rewind that a couple of times till I explained it perfectly for you. You ever insult an Arab guy's religion? What's his response? When you insult a narcissist, you're insulting their own personal God that they have a delusion with that they made up in their own head. The reason that they make up this delusion in their own head is because I'm getting so off. I want to make a own personal video of this. So I don't want to get into too much of this. I'm going to make a personal video of this. So we're going to stick to just what happened with the ex-wife. So 2 times she shot me down, even though she wanted to get involved with me. Now there's a 3rd time. I got home to my house. I had my own condo. This was a long time. This was like 15 years ago. And she shut me down again. Both times she made these eerie comments to me, like, oh, don't you worry, we'll have our time, or something like this. So, like, I have tons of partners, I'm not even paying attention to her, so I don't know what she's talking about. I didn't catch it at the time. But that's one of the things that when you go back in life and you find out, do you remember that they said this to you? I have an incredible memory, and I'm smart. So I remember things, and I went over for the last 8 months of everything everyone's ever said to me pretty much my whole life, trying to straighten my shit out. So, like I said, both times she said this eerily thing like, oh, don't you, she jerked me off, didn't let me get back with her after the original time. But she made a comment like, oh, don't you worry. So she knew she was going to get to me. She just jerked me around, played with me. Little did I know is she was saying to people that I raped her and I took her virginity and raped her. She had a boyfriend before me for 5 years, which was a very violent police call. Narcissists are compulsive cheaters. My ex-wife is a compulsive cheater. She's cheated on me literally 20 times while we were married. It's freaking insane. And I'm going to give the playback of the whole thing that freaking happened. This is more than one video. I'll break down overalls, and then I'll make some funny jokes about some other stuff, I think. It's just to get it all, the whole stories of the shit my asshole wife done to me is insane. So 3 times she blows me off. But all 3 times I was trying to get ass. She messed with me. I pretended like it didn't matter, but I was trying to get ass. So she did that to me. Then, finally, we're both single. I'm in a club minding my own business. It's wintertime. One day before New Year's. And she's walking down the street going a different way. In a high heels, skirt, looking good. Now she's almost a 10. She's like a strong 9 now. When I hooked up with her and took her virginity, she didn't look that good. So that's why I never called her back. That really pissed her off. So she made up this lie that I was a rapist. And to a narcissist, when you make up a lie like that and you start telling people, they become like I'm her adversary, her enemy. It's freaking crazy. It's not how, when you look at narcissists, you can't think from your own point of view, like how you would think about stuff, because it's not a normal, you can't look at this and you can't look at narcissism and what they do to you, like my ex. You can't put sanity to it and follow the normal laws and procedures of life. They have a completely different reality, but they all have the same crazy freaking reality. So once I explain this to you, then you'll know what I'm talking about. They all do, every single narcissist has the same traits because they're hiding from the same exact freaking thing. Life. So narcissists have to make up this alternative world because they were so traumatized when they were young, they could not deal with the reality of what was going on. They just couldn't deal anymore. So they had to go into this different space. And in this reality, different spaces, they don't have emotions because they made like picture you being a human and you have a moat around you, water, a whole moat. They have themselves a moat and then emotions on the outside and what people do to them. So you can't punch, you can't get into them. So that's why they're able to just leave someone on the drop of a dime. Because they don't even love you. They don't love their own kids. They don't love their own mom. Not in the way that we would think of love. And a love and attachment, normal people, healthy. I'm not going to say normal. I'm going to say healthy. Emotionally healthy people have normal attachments. They have all kinds of, they have opposite attachments of us, and they have a bunch of major things that, so you can, they're easy to control. They're not as smart as people think. They're actually arrested. It's narcissists arrested, developed children. They're still children at this age. So you see them walking around like they're adult, but they have the emotional level of like a 5-year-old. Literally, like it's not, you're like an emotional level of a 5-year-old. You hear people say that. Narcissists actually have a personality like a 5-year-old. Go watch real doctors. Don't watch these stupid videos. You can find some really good, real information. The only thing I'm going to be showing you groundbreaking is what I've actually seen, and it's much worse than these guys think it is. There's way more, and what they do, and nowadays is even crazier. So eventually my wife caught me. I took her home, and she never left. She knew she wanted me that whole time. She was just waiting for me to come around. She knew I was going to come around, and she caught me. So I'm not a real person with feelings to my ex-wife. I'm like a commodity. So I'm a husband, I'm good looking, I'm tall, I'm a cash register, good dick. Like, I'm a people person, so I'm always bringing around new people around. So like, she took me as a possession. I'm not a person with feelings that she can, the reason that they don't care about cheating on you and hurting you and doing all these things to you is because you're not really a person. You're not a normal person. So you're an object. So I'm a cash register and a human dildo to my ex-wife. That's what the fuck I am. It's crazy. So, we ended up getting engaged. We ended up start dating. She never leaves after that time that we're talking about, right? And we start dating. She starts doing crazy stuff. Like I'm in college and I don't drink. She blames all of her activities on drinking. Every narcissist, they do different things. I'm going to tell you about other narcissists, but these stories I'm talking about my ex and her moves. So she uses alcohol as a mask to do all of her bad behavior. So she's like, oh, I was drunk. Oh, I did this drunk. So for me, it was hard for me to realize what it was. One, I didn't know what narcissism was. And two, I thought it was just bipolar and she would never go to a therapist. Like, you bring up the word therapist, for her fucking head will explode. So she won't go near any therapy or anyone like that. That's a huge sign that someone's wrong with them. You bring up therapy, they will freak out because what you're saying to a narcissist is, there's something wrong with you, you need to fix it. And narcissists can't have anything wrong with them. So when you say go to therapy, just like a suggestion of going to therapy, they're gonna freak the fuck out on you because you're saying to them, they're freaking crazy. So it's like saying to Muhammad, the Arab's religion, that saying Muhammad needs therapy. When you say that to a narcissist, really look into it. In their own little reality, they're their own personal little gods. So whenever you do an insult to them, the reason that they take this insult so seriously and so fucking mad is because you're insulting their God. You got to get on board or you're going to pay. So that's why they do things back to you. Once you do something small to them, and they do it back to you huge. So my wife cheated. My wife put me in the hospital, almost cut off my hand. She was going for my neck with fucking headphones. Cheated on me over 20 times. Killed 2 of my children in abortions. Actually got pregnant by someone else. Had long-standing relationships against me. Non-stop psychologically warfared me mentally for the whole 10 years. Like, so I don't even listen to what she's saying. She's nagging all the time. But it's like, they say little things like my wife's line to me is, I'm old now, I'm 40, I'm old, no one wants me, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this. Constant little themes. My wife would say, I'm old, I'm not good looking anymore. I could never get better than her. And they knock down your self-esteem because they want to make you weak. They never give you compliments because a compliment makes you feel good. Makes you feel good, you might realize, hey, I can do better than them. So they never want to give you a compliment because then you're going to go find someone better. And so that's like, giving a compliment is, one, you're taking the attention off them. They need attention on them 24/7. So they're giving a compliment, taking attention off of them, and they don't want you to feel positive anyways. So it's a double whammy for them. It makes no sense. That's why they'll never do it. That's why they hate to do it. They'll do it in the beginning, in the love bombing, to get you hooked. Once you're physically hooked to a narcissist, then they start taking away, because they don't want to give you shit. So my ex-wife and I, We start dating. She starts doing all these little things. They start pushing you. How far they can get away with this. How far they can get away with that. How far they can get away with that. And they just start pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. So we end up getting married. Now, mind you, she's really good looking and the sex is really good. I've known her 25 years. I had sex with her when she was like 15. I was 17, she was 15. So it's a long-standing thing. So I let her get away with a lot of stuff because I thought she was fucking crazy or like bipolar, and she had an alcohol, and she had a drinking problem. She's really classy, smart. She has a degree, great job. Like, even being a severe narcissist as she is, our marriage was still great like 90% of the time. It was just that 10% of the bad was a fucking nightmare, man. Like, it was the worst of the worst. So overall, my marriage wasn't that bad, but that 10% and the constant manipulation, even when things are good, it's still constant manipulation. I wasn't even really noticing that part, but to me, it was like 10% of the marriage was fucking out of your mind, crazy, screaming, fighting, all kinds of stuff. But the rest of the times, everything was really, really good. So that's why I let it continue as long as it did. Besides, I'm a real big family guy, and I have a child with this woman. I could never imagine not waking up to my daughter every day. That was a big, huge thing for me. That was the biggest part of my divorce and how everything happened, is that I had to give that up. That was freaking traumatizing. I was crying for months. It was horrible. That was like my little world. I worked a lot, but whenever I'm not working, I was home with my kid. That's been my life. She's 9 now, so pretty much every second that I could, I spent with her. So yeah, then we, for the first, she tricked me. So my ex-wife knows that she's a narcissist. Don't let them fool you that they're not self-aware. All of them are self-aware. They know what they're doing. My ex-wife hooked up with me. She's mad at me. So in her head, she's been telling a lie for 10 years that I raped her. So in her mind, I did something to her. So she has all this built-up resentment against me. When she marries me, she's intentionally trying to hurt me, mind you. But she's so into me and obsessed with me because she's been obsessed with me over 10 years. No one else can have me, and she needs to have me, but she hates me. She needs to have me, but she fucking hates me at the same time. It's insane. This is what narcissists do. They hate you and can't live without you. She's been attached to me for so long. If I leave, I give her anxiety. It's like, it's abandonment issues. So it's like her own mom abandoning her. And when it happens, so she's going to have a flashback of that if I leave her. So it's a combination of fucking hating me to death and resenting me, my even existence. But if I go someplace or anyone else has me, it's like someone else picking up her toy. You know when you got a couple toys and they're just a possession? You throw the toy over in the corner in the basket, and then you forget all about it. But then someone else goes over and picks up and plays with your toy. You get fucking pissed when you're younger, right? So that's that same kind of concept. So we get married. She games me. This is how I know one of the reasons that she's more self-aware than you think, than I thought, is she intentionally tricked me with a child. I was already a single parent at the time, and I was really into kids, and she knew that. So I asked her, what are you using for birth control? She gave me this whole long story, and I friggin' believed this idiot. And then 6 months later, she's pregnant. Like 4 months later, man. 6 months, let's just say 6 months into our relationship, she's pregnant. I'm like, holy fuck. And then she kind of bullied me into marriage. Like, I was into her. I was in love with her. She's freaking gorgeous, and the sex was hot. So I'm not going to fake like I wasn't into her. I was into her. But she locked me down with a child on purpose. She told me she couldn't get pregnant, and then next thing you know, pregnant. And then she bullied me into the marriage. It was a shotgun wedding. She was 8 months pregnant. We couldn't even go on a honeymoon. So once she was pregnant and had a child with me, that's when she turned up all of her bad behavior. She started getting so crazy, we couldn't even live together. She hit me with I was clean and happy. Whenever you're happy with a narcissist, they get pissed because you're happy, they can never be happy. They don't have empathy, they don't have self-love, so they can't be happy and normal. So, yeah, so they build a resentment against you just for being alive. They don't even do anything wrong. And they also have they're trying to dominate you. This is what narcissists do. Is the reason that they're saying all these bad things to you and trying to knock you down is because it's domination. They have to be the better person. So they want to dominate you financially. They want to dominate you physically. They want to dominate you mentally. It's a whole power game. They got to be above you. So she starts. In the beginning, it's called love bombing. We have love bombing is usually like 4 or 5 months for normal people. We had like a 3-year thing. because sex was so hot and we got along so good. So once you stop getting along with them and you start insulting each other and stuff like that, that's when the love bombing phase, it usually lasts like 5-6 months. But we had a good run. Once we had the baby, life was super stressful, and she never really wanted a baby. She just wanted me. So that's the second thing she's resentful about, that I forced her into marriage in her head, even though she conned me into the whole freaking thing. So she's mad that she thinks I pushed her into marriage, and I pushed her to have a baby because I wanted babies. This was all this freaking broad's problem, but in their brain, the narcissist, they changed actual reality and the truth. So now I got a steaming freaking woman who's married to me, resentful of me, in competition with every single fucking thing that I do, and mad at my freaking own existence, and I didn't do anything wrong to her. So then they start degrading you and doing fucked up things to you. So she starts cheating on me, yelling at me, screaming at me, saying like bad shit to me all the time, negative stuff. So I separated from her. She was too freaking much, man. I'm a normal person. So so I break up with her. She goes to her mom's, I go to my mom's. Then she starts on a cheating freaking streak. It's insane. And we're hanging out on the weekends. We're completely together. She's doing this all during the week while I'm not with her, and she's at her mom's and I'm at my mom's. She's pissed at me. So I tricked her into marriage. I tricked her into having a kid. She's at her mom's, not getting supported. And so I'm like the devil. But she can't live without me. All weekend she's with me. We're making love. She can't stand not being with me. But during the week, she's doing shit on purpose, intentionally to me. And at the same time, she's getting attention because narcissists come up with this idea in their head is, they have this one thing, and they need it to be proved to them all the single time. So her one thing is she's the best sexual looking that there is. No one's better looking than her. That's her main one thing. They all have one thing, and they are not strong enough to say to themselves that they're that one thing, so they need constant validation outside to prove to them that one thing. And hers is she's the sexiest. So she has to conquer every fucking guy that she likes sexually. So that's why she does all this stereo cheating, because of that. And she's resentful for me, hates me. And so she does it with a smile. She's like, motherfucker, fuck this guy. As she's doing it. The whole time, on Facebook for 12 years. I work my ass off. We got to live in a nice house. I treat her good. I'm good looking. I work out 7 days a week. I have a nice body. She's mad at me. She's mad at her own husband that's in love with her. She's mad at her husband that he thinks is her soulmate. It's my soulmate, and she's mad at me. This is how fucking crazy these people are. So she does all these intentional things to me. And her biggest gift attack against me was cheating on me. But what she doesn't understand is I have really high self-love. I know I'm good looking. I know any woman would have loved to have had me as I treated her in this marriage. So all of her cheating doesn't hurt me. None of it hurts me. It's like sad. She's self-hurting herself. So she's going out there and getting used by all these guys looking like a loser. She doesn't even know what she has is worth anything. So her body to her is worth nothing. How fucking sad is that? So I'm not even mad at her about any of this shit. I just think she's a sad, fucked up bitch. But she gets so vindictive sometimes. I'm just like, motherfucker. But you have to look at these narcissists. They're not your enemies. They're abused children. So that's why I'm really not even mad at my ex-wife. She's an abused child. Her fucking shithead mom, man. That's a whole nother subject we won't get into. So yeah. So now I'm going through a divorce. My marriage is ending right now because first she put 2 restraining orders on me, fake restraining orders. I didn't do anything physically to her. She's having affairs while she's got me on a restraining order. She does 1 restraining order. She can't live without me because she's a narcissist and they can't live without. So she put a restraining order on me. I started moving on, dating people. She lost her shit, took the restraining order, she put a restraining order on, begged them to take him off. She's stalking me at my mom's house. I'm going outside my front door. She's outside peeling off in my face. Won't even stop to talk. So she puts on 1 restraining order, stalking me. I'm not even supposed to talk to her. She's calling me and stalking me, calling me from a work number. I got her blocked on all numbers. Then we got into it. So then she openly tells me that she cheated, right? So I freaked out and I threw all kinds of plants out of the house. After she took the first restraining order off, they put another restraining order on me for throwing out plants. I didn't fucking touch her. I threw a bunch of plants off the deck into the backyard. Every plant in the house. But I didn't touch her. So they gave me another restraining order for that. Now this is a full restraining order. While I'm married and I have a house, I can't even go to my house. So I said, fuck you, and I started dating off of Tinder. Right out in the open, started banging women for the first time in 12 years. She absolutely lost her shit. Begged me to come home and promised to go to counseling. So I told her, I'm a real man. Once I started fucking around, the marriage was over to me. So I didn't plan on screwing her and then going back home. Once I started dating, I was like, fuck you, this is it. So I never planned on going back. It wasn't like trying to get her jealous. I was done. And when I trashed all those plants, I was done. Like that was like I trashed all the plants in my own house. So I was done. So she begged and cried and begged and cried. Went into the court 3 times. Got that restraining order off. Begged and cried for me to come home. I say, if you go to counseling, you quit drinking, you stop this drinking. She promised. So that's the only reason I came home after the second restraining order. And then, so at this time, I picked up a little bit of a drug habit. And my life is so crazy. And I pawned a ring and a bracelet from her. And I was going to pay it back. I got paid on Friday. I needed it for gas, and I was getting high. And she beat me up for 4 days. I had 2 jobs. She started calling me, harassing me on the phone. It's fucking nuts. Nonstop, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up, call, for like a 4-hour fucking period. I come into the house. This happens for 4 days. Nonstop aggression, physical punching, kicking, hit me with stuff for like 4 days. My kid sees a lot of this. That's like a 10-minute video just to watch explaining that day. But she got arrested, got 5 domestic violence charges. And now, so here I am at my house. I don't have any furniture. I hardly could get my clothes out of the house. And I started to, the first 2 months, I tried to get in contact with my kid, and she got me off of my kid. So what I had to do was make a clean break. She's a narcissist, and like, what you have to do is you gotta have to go no contact with these people. You can't give them an inch. How you doing? There you go. The only way to get rid of them is no contact. No receiving any phone calls, no text messages. Absolute no contact so they know. That's what I had to finally do. Which she has my child, which sucks. But my divorce is almost over. I've got everything worked out. I got my life together. I am doing awesome right now. I started a new business. And I'm finishing up my divorce, custody shit. Everything will all be done in the next 3-4 months. So, and then I'll have all this marriage shit behind me. But in the beginning, it was hard because I have attachment to my child, and narcissists, you're like physically addicted to these people. But if I had to be honest about this, with myself and with you guys, this narcissist is not supposed to like me, had a way worse of a time getting this breakup than I did. I'm hiding, like, I had to hide from her. She jacked my social media. You know, like, it's endless. She put private detectives on me, attacking me in court, just trying to get my attention, fucking with me, man. It's crazy. So now she's got a new boyfriend. So once I got her arrested and she went to her mom's, I wouldn't take the charges off. She was out of control. This was after she already promised to go to counseling and quit drinking. And she beat me up for 4 fucking days. So I refused to take off the charges. And so she started to date a new guy with my kid. It was summertime. I'm not even paying attention to her. I completely no contact her, refused to answer any calls, so I didn't even know what she's doing. She puts her Facebook on public. It's been private for her whole life. And she starts taking pictures of her at times up at the lake with this new guy with my kid. She's trying to antagonize me. I didn't even know any of this until later. So she's doing this every single day, and I'm not even paying attention. I found out about this later. So she goes out to a guy, completely uses him, tricks him, and then the whole time she's trying to get me jealous. And then so she got another guy, and she got a contact with me, and she was all over me. And then so it took me a couple, like 3-4 times to do the no contact good, because of narcissism, it's hard to get rid of him, and she has my daughter. So once I got rid of her and I stopped talking to her, every contact with my daughter was all about her. So she was so starving for attention from me is that I couldn't even talk to my daughter. So what was the point of talking to my daughter? So I finally had to go no contact to everything, and I demanded third party in between all contact. And that's how it's been. How we're at right now is, we're at right now like 30 straight phone calls. She keeps on hacking my Facebook. She's done a lot of creepy things. I'm pretty sure she broke into my house. I made a police report about it. So while she was on bail, she broke into the house and had a physical incident with me right in front of my daughter. I did not call the cops and get her in trouble. She was on freaking bail. She would have got a whole new charge. I was nice. I let her off the hook. She's fucking with me. She was fucking with me while I was at this house. I let her off the hook. I don't want her to get in trouble. She's got a good job. So it's really not in my best interest for her to lose a bunch of money and lose a job anyways. So pretty much that's where we're at with her. That's where we're at now. That's the wife. I'll laugh and talk about some other funny stories, but that's a pretty good breakdown. I will put out some more funny videos, and I'll start getting into other subjects.